Hey everyone, what's up? It's me, James Wu, back again with another YouTube video. I know if I said this, if I promised you that I was going to do more YouTube videos starting the summer, I'm terribly sorry. The first week has been well, it's been particularly busy, I would say. Well, yeah, but I'll get back to that in my journal in my journal entry section. But for now, though, I would like to focus this video on another product review. And once again, it's also not just a product review, but a book review. If you're guessing which product it is again, yes, it's another test prep book. Yes, I know. If any of you are thinking, dang, James, you took a lot of test prep, well, yeah, I know. I took a lot, and I know to a lot of people that taking 8 aptitude tests is quite the load, especially if it's more than just one SAT and one ACT. And speaking of that, that's where I start to bring in the product, and it is the official ACT prep guide. I would say parentheses 2018 edition, because it doesn't say here, but you can figure that out. You can kind of figure that out, because the copyright is stated for 2017, and how test prep books work is that usually they're depending on basically the year of the edition is the year after they publish it, because they publish in the summer before the school year starts, and the edition is the edition is the year the school year ends, basically, or when the final set of tests are taken. So but first, before I make or give you my review on this, I'm just going to tell you how I used it. So I think I should start doing that with some of my products, because then you can weigh how credible my take on it is. Because for example, my SAT study guide, I literally use that entire thing. I literally read every character in that thing. I took every single practice test they offered. I went over every single example they offered. But as for the official ACT prep guide here, the only thing I really used thoroughly was pretty much the practice tests and a little bit of the material. But you know what? Not much else. The rest of the stuff was more like just there to give me extra information if I needed it. So. Now, what is my take on it? Well, let's focus on what I did. My take on what I did use in here. So, one, I think the practice tests they did a real good job with those. Unlike the SAT study guide, they tried to kind of mimic the setup. The setup of the test, from what the pages would look like, how the questions were structured, and how the test was structured, and it literally looks like the pages inside an ACT test booklet. And I mean, they went above and beyond. Even the writing pages, and the essay planning pages, and the bubble sheet, and the multiple choice bubbling sheets, they were pretty much the same thing, except that form codes, there like a lot more of them. I mean, they had to simplify that for the sake of this and all that. So they did a good. It might be too late to get this, but maybe if they don't do too many changes, or if they make no changes to the next one because there's no changes in the ACT, I recommend you get that. If you're going for the ACT, you get an official ACT study guide by the makers of the ACT. And so yeah. And then as for the supplementary materials that I did not use, I think it was a good idea to have it there, like the SAT study guide. It could have been, if you didn't have to read it, it was just there if you needed it. So yeah, like the SAT study guide, it was yeah, except that this one it had less practice tests. So yeah, and I think it does a really good job of setting your expectations on what you can do for the ACT, and how much you need to do, and what you need to do to get better, and all that, and how good you are relatively, so you're not generally surprised, or you can see if you did better or worse on the day of the actual test. So that's all good. So that's all good. And so, you know, I have to admit, though, although I wasn't as prepared as I wanted to be going into the ACT test, at the same time I can't really blame them too much. I crammed all my studying in a week, so it's not like I read every single character, took every single page seriously, and over the course of months. My original plan was to use it over the course of 3 to 4 weeks. I ended up cramming it all in 1 week. So yeah, that was bad on my part. But so I cannot blame them for that. But if there's anything I could criticize them on, if I could think for a moment, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This is more like of an opinion, because the practice tests in terms of quality were good, quantity questionable, but at the same time, if quality was the mark and not quantity, they got it. But if quantity was important, I don't know if 3 is enough. Some people that's well more than enough. But if you're a guy who like wants something like doesn't want just a multiple practice tests, they want many different types. That's not gonna work out too well. Like if you're a guy or girl who wants more than 3 that are especially being distinct and separate and unique compared to each other, this is not yours. This is not your type of study guide. However, though, I think that one cool thing that they had with their practice tests is that although there was only 1 writing booklet, there was 2 sets of bubble sheets for multiple choice questions. And so, because of that, you could literally take each test twice. Hopefully the memory does not play a part hopefully memory does not play a part when you go take those tests over again. That's why I say that maybe that wasn't a good idea in terms of like if you have a very good memory, it's not going to really help you that much. In fact, I don't know if it could harm you, but at the same time, how it's useful is that it's like you can go over each test once without the writing test, because ACT offers their tests with and without the essay, so you can go over it once without the writing test and once with it. And so, yeah, so that's key advantage. So they did a really good. I have to admit, this was really good. And in fact, this came with 400 additional practice test questions, but I didn't use them. However, I was not forced to, but also was open in case if I wanted to. So that's another good thing on them. So out of 5 stars, I would give this book a 4.7 out of 5. Or actually, you know what? Should I give it to them? I mean, let's see. In the absence of opinions, they would get 5, but in terms of what I could see in front of my eyes, in terms of what I could see in front of my eyes, this was a 5. This was 5-star. But at the same time, though, if you include my suggestions and if you think that there's a way that, and if you take into my consideration that there could be a couple things that might be better off just a 4.7, so it's still got a really good score. So yep. So once again, the official ACT prep guide, parentheses 2018 edition. I had to infer that, and they say it's by the makers of the ACT, and so okay, and so and actually, they even say here, the only guide to include real ACT tests, meaning these were probably past ones. That's what I inferred, though. I don't know. Anyway, guys, that is my take on the official ACT prep guide from the makers of the ACT, Inferred 2018 edition. And so now, that is where I stop. Have a good day, everyone.